Hello, today I'll be talking about Claude Monet's Impression Rising Sun canvas. So this painting, as I said, is a canvas, which means it's an oil painting. The height is about 50 centimeters and the length is approximately 65 centimeters, and this is without the frame. The frame obviously makes the canvas a little bit larger. Some history on it. It was painted by Monet in 1872, and it was first shown at the exhibition of the Impressionists, which was held in Paris in 1874. It is now displayed at a museum in Paris, the Musée uh, Marmottan, and their website, um, the museum website rather, is where I found a lot of this information. To go in on the backstory of this painting, the setting is of Monet's hometown, Le Havre, and he was staying at a hotel in his hometown. And as he was looking out this window at the sunrise, he became inspired to paint this impressionist canvas. So the painting is from the view of his room of the southeast side of the outer harbor in the early morning. And it was completed in November, which helps explain the bright orange um, autumnal sunrise and the orange hues in the horizon. To go in further detail and further describe this impressionist work, the horizon isn't abundantly clear or linear. It's rather hazy and blurred, actually. And Monet uses orange, pink, and purple tones, which lead really beautifully into the blue-green sea. And the sunrise itself is a more bright orange color and stands out um, in contrast from the rest of the lighter tones of the painting. Monet masters the concept of reflection as the colors of the horizon and objects in the foreground appear strikingly accurate. As someone who lives on the Atlantic Ocean and is an avid boater, I'm really impressed by this aspect of the canvas, the reflection. I think it's really well done. Even though I haven't been to Le Havre, it seems familiar and reminds me of Salem, Massachusetts, my hometown where I'm from. Um, the industrial aspect also reminds me of Salem Harbor. There's a power plant on one side of the harbor, and the industrial aspect, the smokestacks of the Monet painting remind me of that. In the foreground, there are two small rowboats with some people on them. In the background contains several boats, some taller ships, other big vessels with large masts. And if you're looking at the painting on the right hand side, there are some cranes placed on a dock and other equipment. Monet helps create depth by using darker colors in the foreground um, of the small rowboats to make the rowboats and the people stand out. In terms of style and meaning of this work, he uses looser brushstrokes, and this creates, like I said before, kind of a hazy effect, which I think is a genius in this painting. Almost like a fog is rolling in during the sunrise, which is pretty interesting and pretty accurate in my opinion. Like, because sunrises and sunsets are gradual processes, and I think the blending of colors is really accurate, and it reminds me of waking up early in the summertime and watching the sunrise. Um, in terms of historical significance, this painting can symbolize the dawn of industrialization and the economic rebirth in France after the Franco-Prussian War. And like I said before, I chose this painting because of its colors and the setting. I really like the ocean and the harbor. And the colors, the bright orange he uses for the sunrise is really striking and reminds me of some sunrises I've seen um, in the summer and fall. Some strengths, like I said, were the sunrise, and in terms of weaknesses, Spain really doesn't have any, to be quite frank. There's one thing I had to maybe change, or one small complaint I had, would be the boats aren't totally visible, or the huge vessels in the background, but at the same time, that's kind of the point because it's an impression of the sunrise. It's not supposed to be too much detail. But overall, I'm a big fan of this painting by Monet, and one day I hope to travel to France and Normandy and see some of these impressionist works in person.